Have you ever felt run over by life? You know that moment when life comes the street, down your street, runs you over, backs up and sits on your chest? How about that time when you thought, "Am I ever gonna get through this?" Well, I'm here to tell you that in those moments, there are some unique gifts I like to talk call superpowers that we're gonna be talking about tonight. So our topic is why your unconscious competencies is often your secret sauce. I will get my mouth moving and working this evening. So the topic, why your unconscious competencies are often your superpowers. My name is Suzanne Hart, and welcome to Unstoppable Mindset. You're going to love this conversation if you want to find the gifts that you naturally walk with that you can use in the market. You're going to love this conversation if you want to distinguish yourself from the other people in the marketplace who do exactly what you do. This conversation is especially for you if you want to find great content and the stories that bring that content to life. So I'm excited. So as you jump on, please let us know who you are and where you are joining us from. Let us know what you do for a living, what you do while you're living, and who are is your divine client. Who are those people that you're excited to work with, excited to partner with? I see Patricia has joined us. Hello, Patricia. As you jump on, also put in the comments section where you're joining us from, and make sure that you've given StreamYard permission to so that we can see your name. Because I love to have a conversation where I call you by name. Also, when you love what you hear, and I know you will, go ahead, bless a life. Share this live with somebody. Because when we share great content, one is it allows us to get in communication with a friend, and that drives what you've learned even deeper into you and makes it more valuable. If you're here and you are listening to the replay, first of all, thank you for joining us. Hashtag replay. And then also let us know who you are, what brought you out to the conversation. Let us know what you took away, what you really loved about the conversation. And don't forget to tell us what you do while you're living and what area of the world, the country you're joining us from. Why do we do this? This is our virtual networking opportunity. This is your opportunity to connect with other people who are interested and looking for powerful individuals to network and communicate with. So you never know who's going to find your information and say, "Ooh, I got to reach out and connect with this person." And they may not be on right now. They may be actually joining the replay and listening and going, "Ooh, who is that? I got to connect with them." So that's why we do the networking, virtual networking. Now, I got to tell you, we have a fantastic topic tonight, and I'm going to be hanging out with my partner in crime. You know her. She is a social media strategist. She is someone who just loves to serve and help each and every one of us show up and shine in the marketplace. Please help me welcome back Taria Hodge.
Great evening, Suzanne. Thank you once again for having me on Unstoppable Mindset. Great evening, superstars. Great evening, super achievers. I can't wait for tonight's conversation.
Okay, and Tria, I'm so excited you're here. And you know, the topic that we're going to be speaking about tonight is why your unconscious competencies is
Mm,
often your secret sauce.
yeah.
And this conversation is one that has been evolving. As you know, it's a conversation that you and I have been having. It's a conversation that's been unfolding in our influencer community as
Yes.
we're seeing individuals that we're working with discover their superpower. I was working with Patricia, and she's joining us from Ottawa, Ontario, and Patricia, we were like looking at her superpowers. And you know, I remember when we started talking about it, she was like, it's just something I just do. It's something I just take
Mhm.
for granted. Like that's what I do. But that's often the sweet spot, the secret sauce. So we're gonna be talking a little bit about that tonight. So you excited?
I am. Yeah, I was really thinking, like you said, we've had so many discussions around this. And when we started to talk about it, it really made me start to question myself, what's my unconscious competence? So, yeah, I'm really excited to unpack that tonight.
So let's start by making sure that we're all on the same page and defining an unconscious competence. And of course, a competency is something that you do well. It's
Mhm,
a skill set, a talent, something that you've mastered, if
mhm.
for lack of a better word. But an unconscious competence is something you unconsciously do really effectively. It's like you do it in your sleep, it comes to you with ease, you think nothing of it. It's often the thing that people go to you for. Can you help me with this?
Yeah.
Can you just help me figure this out? Can you do this for me? Can I talk to you about this? And oftentimes they're coming to you because there's a competency, a way of being, a skill set that you have, and they know that if they sit down with you or they ask you for help in that area, they will be taken care of. That's the thing we are talking about today. And for many of us, it is unconscious.
Mhm.
And how many of you watching have an unconscious competency that you just take for granted?
Yeah, so I think a really good thing to do would be to ask our super achievers and our superstars who are watching if they know or they think they know what their unconscious competency is. Drop it in the chat. I would love to know what, people are thinking about or what they think their
Mhm.
unconscious competency is. It'll be fun to find
Yeah.
out.
And it's funny because I see Cindy out there. I totally know what hers is. I wonder if she does.
Okay.
I know I know one of her unconscious competencies for sure. So we'll see if she drops the same one as I know. And I now I know one of Patricia's, right?
Okay.
So unconscious competency. I know yours, and I think I know mine. So for the while we're waiting for everyone to drop theirs in the comment section. Why don't you share? What do you think your unconscious competency is?
Yeah, so I think minds, I would have to say, I know minds is the ability to take, hard things and break them down. So those technical things, and when we talk about in the scope of business, those technical things and break them down into a really simple manner that they're able to, be understood and even implemented by others.
So
So
in other words, you're the Gidget Gadget widget girl, and you make Gidget Gadget widgets easy to understand,
easy to understand. So
and
usually when
easy to
people
learn.
yeah, so usually when people come to me, they come to me with a glazed over look. They're frustrated, they're confused, they don't know what to do. They've tried everything under the sun and they don't get it. And then, I said, well, okay, let's take a minute. And then boom, boom, boom. Like, there you go. And they're like, oh my gosh, how did you do that? You make it look so easy.
And you're like, "I'm not sure." I get and this is an interesting thing when we're talking about a unconscious competency, is oftentimes you just look
Yeah,
at something and you see what most people don't see. It's like, "That's right. Oh, yeah, I see it. It's right there. Don't you see it?"
yeah.
And people are like, "No, I don't."
Yeah, so I had an experience, like actually two experiences of that this week. So I had the opportunity, I was working on a project and I had an idea. I like, oh, this would be so great, to go ahead and connect this page, to this other page. And I'll just say this, even though I talk about technology and all that stuff, one of the things I did not learn in my career is how to do coding. So for all you website designers out there who were old school back in the day and you guys learn coding, I bow down, respect to you because I didn't learn how to write code. What I know how to do really well though is copy and paste code. And so, I just kind of like had this idea of what I wanted to have happen. And I remember calling one of my colleagues and I said, hey, this is the idea that I have. I'm not really, sure this would work. Can you help me? Because, once again, they're in the website development. And, we tinkered around it and then I got it. I said, oh, you know what? We should try this. Boom, go over here, grab that from this. Oh, open this up, put it up. And then in like, I promise you, 5 minutes, we were done. And the person was like, how did you do that? And I just said, well, I thought about it and I said, like, logically, it should work. It should work like this logically because I've seen it, in different instances.
Hmm.
Never probably done it before, but following like general rules of thumb, it should work, this way. And luckily for us, it did.
And it truly is. You are the, oh, I'll just figure it out. And it's funny because Tree and I will be on the call and I'll ask her something and she's gone. She's down the rabbit hole figuring it out. And she'll emerge in a minute going, yeah, it's done. I got it. I got it. I got it figured out. And I'm like, whoa. Superpower. So Patricia's saying, I think mine would be the ability to overcome challenges and never give up.
Yes.
Have you ever met those people that you're like, if I'm gonna get stranded somewhere
Yes,
and
you would
I
have been
gotta survive, I'm going with Patricia.
She should have been in the tree. She should have been in the tree with me.
I'm going with Patricia because she's gonna figure it out. I remember I used to have this young client when I did child protection, and he was like 11 years old. And I tell everybody, if I'm gonna get stranded in a city, I'm going with this child right here. Because I see him negotiate and navigate some stuff that grown people can't do. So,
Yeah.
and it's just innate to him. He's just got that gift. So that's Patricia. Cindy says, I believe mine is the ability to connect with people. Cindy is sunshine. Yeah, first of all, you meet Cindy in the morning. If you're not a bright and bushy tail, she's like bright light, sunshine. She lights up a room, and you're just like, I haven't even turned the lights on yet. So that's one of her superpower. But the other one that I thought of
Mm.
is Cindy has this ability to look at someone and tell them what they should be wearing and what they shouldn't be wearing.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Right? She's like, no, 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 don't do that. And she'll be like, let me just wave my magic wand, go get this, go do this. And you put on, you're like, just how does she see that?
Yeah.
I tell people Cindy has been shopping and dressing me for many, many years. And kind of she's kind of helped me develop this look that people talk about. And that is Cindy's superpower. Oh, I see Jennifer Watson is joining. Hi, Jen. Wonderful to see you. Jennifer says hers is fixing things. Is it fixing things, Jen? So she, and there's some people that just have that ability. The woman who cleans my home, she will fix anything that's broken in my
Mhm.
house. I will go away and come back and it's fixed. It's taken care of. It's been, and I'm not talking just small things. I'm talking from necklaces that she finds laying on my thing because I got to take it to get fixed, to machines.
Yeah.
Like take them away, bring them back. That's her, but that's just her thing.
Yeah. She said, I don't always fix, but I try.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. And so for me, I have this ability to make really complex things very simple. And I can just break things down and I can see a program out of nothing. I can write a program out of somebody's having a conversation, someone tells me a story and I'm like, "Ooh, that's a program." And so that's just the way my brain works. And I also listen. I think people tell me I listen in layers, right? I
Mhm.
hear all these things and I hear what's not being said. I hear what's not being what I that's just those are just my superpowers. Now, this is the interesting thing. Uh, so some of our superpowers are innate. That
Mhm.
means you kind of came into the world with that gifting.
Yeah.
But this is the other really cool thing. Many of us, our superpowers were born in the fire. So when I opened, I said, has life ever run you over, backed up, sat on your chest, stomped, and you thought, my gosh, am I ever going to get up? Oftentimes in those moments, what happens is you find a gift, a skill, a talent that just emerges. And because it is born in the fire, I think oftentimes people dismiss it They're embarrassed that they have it. They don't talk about it, and they don't think it's marketable. So I'm going to ask the question again to everybody, because I can tell you some of mine. What is a gift, talent, treasure? So Patricia, I think you put her. She put hers. She can get past challenges. Hers was born in the fire. She will survive, get through. But what is a gifting that you have because of a moment in your life that you learned something about yourself and you were like, I didn't even know I had this gift. I didn't even know I had this talent. And now it could be a coping mechanism. It could be something that was crafted in the fire and now it's a part of who you be. Do you guys get what I'm saying? What's yours, Tria?
Well, yeah, so technology, and it's actually a very funny story. So when I take a look at where I'm at now today, I always have to chuckle because it wasn't always this way. So I remember it's been about what? Probably 15, 16 years now. Well, actually more than that. When I first started working, at Verizon. And I remember clear as day, the training period. And we had to go through like a 90-day training, and the last day of the training we had an exam to take, and it was a timed exam. And I remember my manager coming up to me and said, like, and he actually said the words, I don't want you to be disappointed if you don't pass the test, because after all it's a time test. And so with the test, not only did we have to do the customer service piece, there was also the technology piece. Now, what was really funny, when we started 3 months before, I was that person who sat down in front of the computer and I was just like, my computer is broken. And everyone got to work, they started doing their stuff, and I sat there for like about 15 minutes, didn't know what to do because my computer was broken. And so finally I raised my hand and said, hey, my computer has a problem. And he came over, so embarrassing, and he just hit the on button. I didn't even like know that there was an on button, where the on button was to be found, what the button was for. I didn't even realize that the computer wasn't turned off. And I was just like, wow. And so 90 days later, I passed the test. And I remember that's where, and it didn't start out as a love for me. It was just that, oh, this is the thing that I have to do to survive because I need I need this
Yeah.
job, and I just mastered it, like put in hours. I remember sometimes I would be one of the first people to, get on the job site, and sometimes like the last person to leave because I would handwrite my orders and then go back and then enter them, into the system until I became proficient. And then fast forward onto my journey of entrepreneurship. As a new entrepreneur, I didn't really have like the finances, to hire a full-fledged marketing team to do all the things that I needed to do in marketing. But I knew there was email marketing. I knew that landing pages needed to be built. I knew that there were systems, automations, all of these different things, in order to market your business successfully. So
Yeah.
once again, I found myself in a position of like, these are the things that are necessary,
Figure it
but
out.
I can't pay for it, so I got to learn how to do it. And so I just, on this side as an entrepreneur, I really built up the love for it.
Wow. And it's that do or die situation oftentimes that crafts something that we didn't know we had.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Someone's like, no,
Laughing at me and the on button is okay. I laugh at myself too.
I was laughing too, wherever the Facebook person is. Put your name in the comment section so we know who you are. Um, okay, so anyone else figure out what theirs is. So I'll share mine or
Mhm.
one of mine. So when we came to Canada, I'm daughter of a single mom. And my mom worked a lot in order to put food on the table and to make sure that we had the lifestyle to which she brought us here. And my mom traveled for work. And so she was home and gone and home and gone. And I was also, I love sports. So I played sports all the time. But my mother had this rule. My mom said that in order to play sports, You had to keep your grades up. You could not bring home homework incomplete. You know, I hear about that. You had to do your chores and you had to get to school on time.
Yeah.
So, and my mom was not Susie homemaker because she was busy. I mean, she's not like making our lunches and doing all that stuff. So we were raised pretty independent. But my mom had these expectations. So I knew that if I wanted to continue to play all the sports I wanted, I had to get homework done on time. They couldn't be late. It couldn't be incomplete. I had to get all my chores done. I had to maintain at least a B plus average, and I had to get up on time. I had to go to bed on time. It was the same. And so for me, what it crafted, and anybody who knows me knows, I am like structure creates freedom. I am like the scheduled, get her done, organized person. That is not my natural way of being. It
Mm.
has become my superpower because in order to get what I wanted, that skill was required to be developed. Now it's part of me. Now, there's a reason I'm asking people this question because many of us have had these giftings and skills that came out of hard moments, or we've just had it and it's so easy peasy that we just take it for granted.
Yeah.
So this is why I'm telling you this. The most common things that people come to me for in business is to help them break things down and build programs.
Yeah.
They come to me to help them get organized and master themselves. I call it master themselves in time so they can be productive, get sleep, get things done, hit deadlines, all that stuff, because they're like, I don't know how you do it. So my programs are built around themes. So my mastermind is built around mastering your thinking, keeping yourself organized, and mastering your emotions. So you hit deadlines, you are productive, you're able to work out, sleep, and live this beautiful life. That's what I get paid to do. The
Amen
other
to that.
was that,
I said amen to that.
right? And then the other thing people come to me for is they come to me for building out programs, because when people talk to me, all I have to do is listen to a story that occurred in your life and I can find a program. Because I tell them all the content's right there. All the information I need to know to find out what your superpower is and break a program down is hidden in one story that you're going to tell me. And I'll be like, there's a program.
Yeah.
That's just how I listen. So each and every one of you that's listening, that is talking about your superpower, consider that that is your secret sauce.
Yeah.
It is that thing that distinguishes you in the marketplace. It is that thing that makes you unique, makes you special, and the world is waiting for it.
And it's so good that you're saying that, because one of the things that I'll also like to share, even though I have been able to identify my superpower as breaking down technology and making it easy to understand, I didn't always know that that was my superpower. So I'll share how I found out. How I found out was this was the thing that people called me the most for
Mm.
on my journey. So, I became that person whenever, people got stumped, they would call and like, anything. Okay, yeah, let's go figure it out. And I would get on a call, or I say, oh, I need a minute. Let me go and figure this out. And it wasn't until, I started, to really understand like this is the product, right? This is the product. This is what I should be, basing my business on. This is the thing that I should be charging for. And it almost feels uncomfortable, in the beginning, because it's like, oh my gosh, it comes so easy,
Easy,
right?
yeah.
And I would just get on the phone and I'd be like, or jump on a Zoom. That was my favorite thing. Let's jump on a Zoom, or let's get on a screen share. Back then it was Team Viewer. Let's get on Team Viewer. I'm dating myself. I don't think anybody uses Team Viewer anymore. Let's get on Team Viewer and walk through it. you know. And so that's my thing, you know, for our superstars and our super achievers out there. If you don't quite know what it is yet, take a look or start to pay attention to the things that people come to you for, or
Yeah.
the things that people ask you the most about. That will be an indication or a clue as to what your superpower is.
Now, this is really cool because Patricia has put that her superpower and gift is excellent at problem solving and result and resolution driven. Now,
Mhm.
remember, she said that her natural thing is getting through challenges. So people come to her to go like, I'm stuck. How do I get through this? How do I get past this challenge? We all have this thing that we have. Now, this is the beautiful thing about putting all this together. And there's a reason we're doing this. One is we're in a really interesting time in the market right now. They're saying, we're hearing that funding for people, who aren't able to go to work it's going to be cut in Ontario and in Canada. All the supports that were put in during COVID, they're coming to an end at the end of this month. We know that more people are not going to be working due to whether they chose to get vaccinated or not. Some people are choosing to stay home. There's all sorts of stuff that's happening. And as we make these choices, this is also a good time to either reinvent yourself, start a business from home, like all these wonderful things. And one of the things that we often overlook is these giftings.
Yeah.
And these giftings can be used to advance yourself, to repackage yourself in the marketplace, all those things. So this is what I've been noodling on as we were writing this and talking through this, is that most of us think that, whatever education you have, you went to school for this, and I went to school for counseling, crisis, group management, all this sort of stuff. And yes, that is part of what I do. But this is what I want people to get. What made me really good in the industry I worked wasn't the skill set I went to school for. It
Mm-hmm.
was my superpower plus my skill set.
Mm-hmm.
And so I learned really early is that if I marketed my superpower, it would separate me from other people. So I got hired because of my ability to break things down, write programs, revamp programs, restructure programs, and my ability to get
Yeah.
teams and groups organized and structured. Had nothing to do with my education. It was my gifting. So part of what I want everyone to think about is skills plus gifting gives you what? How
Super.
does it separate? How does it separate you? Because we are told education, education, education. What'd you go to school for? What'd you go to school for? What'd you go to school for? What'd you get your education in? What trade do you have? What craft do you have? What's this? And I'm saying to you, not only to look there, but to also look at what is the superpower.
Yeah.
And add that to the equation and see how it separates you from the rest.
I
So
love that. I just had to just drop that inside of the comments. Your skills plus your giftings equal your superpower. And we're sitting here and I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, this is so good because we identified the things that I had to learn, which is, the technical skill. I wasn't born with that. But as I'm sitting here thinking about it, the thing that I was born with was patience.
mm,
Patience, and once again the ability to just have, you know to be able to take people through things and take them through without judgment, take them through the learning curve without making them feel bad. And you'll be surprised, like a lot of times people are really afraid of technology, and they beat themselves up around technology.
Yeah.
you know. And so many people have expressed to me when they sometimes work with others, they could feel the frustration coming off of other people. And I was just like, well, no need to get frustrated. And then I had to realize, I said, well, oh, that's one of the things that, I do really well, because I do have like the gift, of patience is really a gift. And so once I started to like recognize that and apply it towards the skill that I've learned, I was just like, bingo, that's it.
Let me ask you, is
Mhm.
patience something you've always had, or was it developed as a result of something?
I have to go back and think about that a little bit more, but as long as I could remember, it's always been there. I don't think I can recall right
Mm.
now a time where I didn't have patience and I had to consciously work, to have patience. I know some people pray for patience.
I'm not necessarily saying that you have to consciously work. So I know that I have Cindy says that I am not judgmental. I'm like one of the
Mhm.
least judgmental. I'm compassionate. Now, I know that was forged it became a sensitivity of a little girl that came to Canada and was made fun of because of her difference. So I don't have a lot of tolerance for people not having people feel like they belong. So I'm just curious as to
So
was there an experience in
yeah,
your
I,
soul
I
that
think I think what it I think what it is I understand how it feels to not know something and not know how to do
there you
something.
go.
Yeah, not know how to do something. And so I think early on I recognized how, you know, some people make me feel. And it's that thing like I would never want to make
There
somebody
you
else
go.
feel that way. Okay.
There you
Got
go. Like, because oftentimes when we have that sensitivity to something, it is
mm,
often a product of our own sensitivity of something.
yeah.
You know, they say that the things you don't like in other people is the things you often can't tolerate in yourself, and the things that
Mm,
you're sensitive to is sometimes the thing you'll give to someone because you know what it feels like,
yeah.
right? And this is the cool thing about all of this is that, you know, when I talk about unconscious competencies, and I talk about these giftings that are born in the fire of life, the hardship of life,
Mhm.
when we teach storytelling, and when we teach, you know, people how to unleash the power of your story, if you will, one of the most common things is people are embarrassed and hiding out
Yeah.
those things, right? Those journeys in life where they don't want anybody to know they've been embarrassed, they've been this, they've been that, they've been marginalized, they've been made to feel bad, all those things. But this is the interesting thing, is when you dig into those places in your life, you will often find a sensitivity, uh, that you're just in tuned with something because you've experienced it. You'll find a different level of compassion. You'll find a group that you identify with, that you can speak to with ease because you have walked that walk. You find all sorts of things. And so part of this whole highlighting this unconscious competency that all of us have is for each of us to go mining in our own experiences for those things that make us unique in the market,
I love it.
right? It's so key. And I know for myself, you know, I opened up one of the trainings the other day about, you know, my coach telling me to tell my story. Tell your story, Suzanne. And I was like, no, that's embarrassing. And when I finally shared my story after much convincing, I became so relatable to the audience.
Mm,
And really, what was in my story was all the places that I had been hurt, all the
mm,
places that I had been embarrassed, all
yeah.
the places that I had struggled, all the places that I'd had difficulties. And what I have now is a listening,
Yeah.
understanding for anyone who is in that place. And why I'm highlighting it is, if you think of what area of the marketplace do I want to go work in, who do I want to target or have as my divine client, when you start looking in those places for yourself, you will often find a passion,
Yeah.
uh, 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 or a compassion, if you will, for groups, because you know them. You have
Yeah,
a
you could identify because you could identify them because you see that thing within yourself as well.
right,
Yeah.
right. And so that's what we're coining as these unconscious competencies that are the secret sauce.
Mhm.
Because what we really want to highlight as we're having this conversation is what distinguishes me from
Mhm.
everyone else who does what I do. What distinguishes me from everyone who might have done counseling, who does mindset work, who is is a trainer? What is it about me that makes me unique? Well, I don't know many people who dig into stories and find programs,
Mhm.
right? And that's just how I do it, because I'm like, it makes perfect sense. And everybody's like, no, it doesn't.
Definitely your superpower. I'm like,
Mhm,
what? How did you get that?
right? So that's kind of what we're talking about. Um, so the last thing I want to talk about is how to use your superpower for business,
Mm.
or to build your business, or to build a business. And how many of you have heard the saying of turning your passion into a business?
Yes.
Yes. And
Yeah.
how many of you actually think that is so not possible? Like, who does that? That's hard. How many people have been shy, like pushed away from their passion? Don't that's never going to work. And I'm here to challenge that a little bit and say, well, maybe it does.
Mm.
And I think maybe it does, because we are in a different time in the marketplace. We
Yeah.
have we have shifted and moved, and what worked yesterday, go to school, get a great education, get a trade, get a skill, get a profession, isn't really working today. We're seeing people walking away at record levels from professions that they've went to school for. We see people who aren't going into their profession. And what I think is I'm seeing more of is people are saying, I love this. I'm good at this. This is what excites me. And they're turning that into business.
Yeah.
They're turning that into, how do I make money? And I think that for me is fascinating.
Yeah, so I think as I'm sitting here and listening and participating in this conversation, it reminds me of how blessed I've been on the journey, because one of the questions that was, or exercises, actually was an exercise that was posed to me very early on in my journey. And the person said, hey, take a sheet of paper and fold the sheet of paper in half.
Mhm,
And no, actually it was in three, folded in three. So you have three columns. And the exercise was, in the first column, you write a list of all the things that you know how to do. And then in the middle, you write, from that list, all the things that you can do that you can make money from.
mhm,
So all the things that you can do, then in the middle of all the things you can do, how many of these things can you make money from?
mhm,
And then I remember in the third column, it was such a crazy question. And they were like, what is the thing that you would do even if it didn't make you any money? And my answer was train. Yeah,
Mhm.
training. And the person said to me, well, that's what you need to do because that's where your passion lies. And this is the thing that's going to sustain you or carry you through the hard times. And so if you have things that you can do, or even the things that can make you money when those challenges come up or the tough times or when you just don't feel like it, there isn't going to be that thing that's going to keep pushing you or have that drive for, like you said, the passion to carry you through. And for me, the passion was really training. And that's where I excelled at. And so I was just like, oh, wow, this is what I'm going to build, the business on. So,
Mhm. And mine was the same. And so we're what we put it together. I'm saying train people in the area
yeah.
of your superpower.
Mm,
Show them because this is the piece. What I do with ease, people struggle to do.
yeah.
What I do with like I feel like I do it in my sleep. People are like, "How did you do that?" And I'm like, I just did." So imagine if you took that gift. So when Patricia says, "I help people solve problems,"
Mm,
and and take that problem solving gift
yeah.
and break it down and make it a way to earn you income. I took my ability to break things down and made it a way to earn me income. Storytelling, program development, and helping people master their mindset. Those, and I'm curious about it. I love it. And I love to train. So I get to train people in those areas. Just something for everyone to be thinking about
Yeah.
as we go into this very interesting time. And the other thing is, as you said, when you're doing what you love, you
Yeah.
really don't feel like you're working.
Yes. Yes. And
Okay.
that's the key. I think that part is so overlooked because a lot of times we, are taught to look at the things that, you know, have the money attached to it. And money is important, but you want to have that thing that excites you, that wakes you up out of your bed in the morning, that you look forward, that like you said, that passion, right?
Mhm.
And then the fun part is to take a look at how can I make money from it? And when you ask yourself that question, what you're going to find, like I found, that is not just one revenue stream. There are multiple streams of revenue that could come out of it. And then you're excited, to do all of it,
Mhm.
and it just like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Tria, if someone wanted to talk to them about what's coming up over the next few weeks in terms of digging into your story, finding your superpower, turning it into a revenue stream, how can they learn more about
Yeah,
that?
so the first thing I have to say is that we are, in the middle of our launch for our Unleash the Power of Your Story. So the first step, what we're giving everyone who has the opportunity to join us tonight or you're catching us on the replay, is to join us on the Magnetize and Monetize, the virtual and live stage live training. So this is a training that Susan and I, we sat down and we're talking. And the reason why we're talking about the superpowers, okay, because this is the foundation, this is the basis. So I remember my experience when I first started working with Suzanne, and Suzanne said, hey, there's a story here. What's the story, behind you and social media, and not just doing social media like everybody else in the marketplace is doing social media. Like I had an idea and I was just like, this is the stuff people are not talking about. And it needs to be, these are the untold conversations. And Suzanne said to me, she's like, well, what's the story? And as I started to share with her, the things that I've seen and the things that I've heard, the things that I agree with and the things that I didn't disagree with, she says, well, Taria, you need to get that out there. And so as I started to work with Suzanne, the program came first. right? So I learned how to build a program first and take people through the program. So stream of revenue. Then the story, learning how to market the business. So once again, I'm taking a look at it and I'm saying, this is so good, Suzanne. We have to get this stuff out
Yeah.
here into the marketplace because this is the missing. So for those of you who are out there, you know you have a story, maybe you're not sure what the story is, or maybe you don't know how to tell the story in such a way that allows you to be seen as an expert when you share the story. The first step, you want to make sure that you join us on the Magnetize and Monetize the virtual stage. And I'm just going to make sure that I drop the link so it's going across the screen, and it's also in the description of the video. And the second thing, we've made this fun, Suzanne. Okay. So once again, we talked about how Taria's little brain works. And I said, wow, it would be really cool if we could, turn this into a contest. And so we actually have a contest component, to our Unleash the Power of Your Story. So what we are doing is we're offering 2 all-access passes to the 2 people who accumulate the most points by sharing the Unleash the Power of Your Story live 2-day training. And so this is really cool. All you have to do is share. 2 people who receive the most points will get 2 tickets to all access passes, and this is valued at $497. So we know a lot of people out there, who have wanted to join us on Unleash the Power of Your Story, and because of finances they couldn't do it. We made it super easy for you to do that now. And then we also have attached another grand prize to that. For the person who have accumulated 100 points, then you're able to get a $500 coupon on our next step. Okay, so the next program after that. So this is like really cool stuff because, like I said, we talked about it, we looked at it, and even for myself, I have no problems being totally transparent. I was that person who said, story, no, not my story. People have tried before. I have stood on stages and cried because I just could not get the story out. So I know how important and how pivotal it is to be able to share your message and what I call and what we call your authentic message in the marketplace,
Mhm.
because it's designed to attract your divine client. So once again, if you're out there and you know that there are people who are just waiting to work with you, but you're looking for them and they're looking for you, this is the secret sauce right here. This is the thing that you need.
Yes, and I'll tell you, whenever we dig into someone's story, a whole bunch of superpowers emerge. I know Patricia's out there, and we've been working with her, and she was like, "Ooh, superpower! Ooh, talent, gifts," and finding things about herself that are highly marketable and different and giftings that make her unique in the marketplace, and really showing her how to put language to that and put it out there. So it is a great time. And so love to see you in the room. We have a few more trainings coming up,
Yes.
and that contest is so much fun. I know we have some leaders that are neck and neck.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna I was looking at the leaderboard, but I'm gonna give it a couple more days, okay? And then I'm gonna go ahead and do my shout outs on social media for all the people who are, taking charge and leading because they know that this is definitely the next step for them. And so I also make sure that I put the link to the contest is scrolling across the screen, but it's also in the description of the video as well. So we are looking, to seeing everyone in the room. I think the next Magnetize and Monetize, the virtual stage we have coming up on November 6th, which is a Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then on November 8th, It is November 8th? Yes,
November
November
8th.
8th, the Monday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you want to make sure that you go ahead and reserve your seat. Great, great, great stuff. We have an amazing time every time we do the trainings, so we're looking forward to seeing you in the room.
All right. Well, everyone, you have been listening to Unstoppable Mindset. I have been sitting down and kind of hanging out and having a chat with social media strategist Taria Hodge. We were talking about your unconscious competency being your secret sauce, and we are looking forward to helping you uncover and do something powerful with your unconscious competency and release your secret sauce and turn that into a powerful story and put that in the marketplace. We will be back here next week, Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have two guests, back-to-back weeks with two amazing guests. These are individuals that have actually gone through Unleash the Power of Your Story freestyle and are doing some amazing things in the marketplace with what's happening for them. So they're going to share a little bit about their experience on the journey. So you definitely want to join us. Until then, my name is Suzanne Hart. I've been sitting down with the beautiful Taria Hodge. This has been Unstoppable Mindset. If you're not part of our Unstoppable Mindset for Super Achievers Facebook group, definitely knock on the door and we will let you in. You can also find Suzanne on LinkedIn, on Instagram. You can check out these replays on YouTube. And we will definitely see you back here next week. Blessings and take care.
Take care.